morning, ma'am. My name is Captain Laith Samara, and I'm with Victory at All Costs. We've actually recently changed our name to Take It or Lev It. All right, so to start our brief, we're going to start with a story. There's a story of an individual by the name of Reed Barrett. Now, Reed Barrett was a 26-year-old with a successful civilian career. He traveled, he had great income and benefits as well as promotability. However, Reed wanted to do something else. Reed wanted to be a fighter pilot, so Reed reached out to an Instagram account called the Globemaster. Globemaster is a C-17 reservist by the name of Jonathan Millman. Now, John Millman runs essentially a platform that reaches out with 30,000 people sharing aviation-minded posts. John directed Reed with the interview process, how to apply, how to make his dream a reality, and now Reed was picked up by the 121st Fighter Squad in Washington, D.C. Today, Reed is one of my students at Vance Air Force Base, and this story is the beginning where how I saw the field of recruiting was changing and how people are accessing their information differently. Now, the reason they reached out to John is because it was something called user-generated content. Now, this content is anything that is put up by an unpaid contributor. This content could be pictures, posts, testimonials, or anything in between. And the reason people are reaching out to it is because it's not put out by the brand itself, but it's putting out by someone who's an advocate for the brand. Some statistics today, essentially 27% of the world's population is millennial. And of this population, 25% of these millennials spend more than 5 hours per day on their smartphone. People are reaching out to content as opposed to traditional advertisement. 92% of people trust recommendations from people over brands. This is why they reached out to Jonathan Millman in the first place. Now, some companies that have figured this out, there's Starbucks, Red Bull, GE, among some of the majors. What was really cool is GE figured out a way to turn their brand marketing into content for their company. Now, in 2016, they teamed up with filmmaker Sam Cosman. Sam Cosman wanted to descend into the Messiah volcano, or mouth of hell. So they went into the Messiah volcano and they documented all the footage. They set up sensors inside the volcano. They posted everything on Snapchat, Instagram, and YouTube. The following year, they saw recruitment go up for 800% for scientists and engineers. So the bottom line is that this content's influencing more than consumer decisions. It's actually influencing people's careers. Now, our brand advocates, like Jonathan Millman, we've identified several. So identified 30 initially. These guys are plugged into the platform, and overall they have everywhere from 11 to 50,000 followers initially that are growing. This is on a platform of 600 million users on Instagram. And these people are plugged into medical communities, aviation communities. They're not limited by location. They're plugged in on a strategic level in a more intimate setting, which is defining the way we actually traditionally view communities. Beyond this, we've identified that John Millman receives an average of 50 messages per week, and all these advocates are seeing the same. In an effort to move towards them and move away from our traditional model, right now, we have recruiting offices in strip malls, and it's time for a paradigm shift. It's time to meet people where they are at now. So reaching out to where they're at, we want to design essentially a recruitment cell that engages with 3 people. These 3 people will provide a warm interpersonal handoff that engages with these brand advocates. They answer and direct questions from the individuals, and they're going to make a smooth, streamlined process from their initial outreach into the Air Force. We want to welcome them into our team. We want to welcome them into our community. The bottom line is we want to see more stories like Reed Barrett and less people slipping through the cracks. We want to grow our community from the very beginning, from their first experience with the Air Force. Thank you.
Okay.